D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So, if you're a fan of Victorian thrillers or DC's Elseworld, then this Gotham by Gaslight might be for you. Even if you're a fan of the comic book, it might be for you. It may not be for you. Personally, it wasn't for me, and I'll tell you why. To start off, this movie is an R-rated movie, and it's a hard R, and it's animated also. So the whole time I was wondering, is this for adults or is it for kids? Now, it is inappropriate for children to watch this movie. I personally didn't know this going in. I sat down with my kid and we started watching it. And within the first 5 minutes, I realized that this is not for children. And I thought that maybe the R, it would be just a little bit of strong language and everything. But I can tell you right now, there's some blood and killing and gore and blood splattering and guts and all that stuff. And so I shut it off and I waited till my kid was, not around. One thing also, there's some prostitution and everything, and my kid's not old enough to realize what's going on with that, but I didn't want her in the room and everything. So to start off, I'm going to start with the things that I didn't like. The first thing was the objectification of women and the sexism that went on and everything. Now, starting off, and it started off with prostitution. Now, I'm just looking at my notes and everything, but within the first 5 minutes, it started off, and as the movie progressively got into the movie, I started to think it was okay, and this is why. One, it's appropriate for the time, prostitution-wise. It was appropriate for that time period, and then also, considering the fact that Jack the Ripper's victims were prostitutes, that made it more appropriate, and I got over it real quick. Now, starting in with that, we got into the introduction and the death of Ivy, aka Poison Ivy, and it started off with her objectification as a dancer / prostitute and everything. And I didn't like that, but then I also, going back, it was the hard R with her death, and that's with the splattering of her blood, and that made me go back to, is this for kids or is it for adults? And DC Animation is starting to veer off of it's for kids with this R rating and the language / the blood and gore kind of thing. And then that gets me into the fact that if this is for adults, the quality of animation has gone down. I mean, compared to past movies, this movie does not hold up. It, in my opinion, sucks. Okay, it's not good compared to not the last movie, the Batman and Harley Quinn movie, but past ones. It's so bad it didn't even have an intro. That's how lazy / bad it's gotten. So then we get into the quality of the story. Now, I thought this movie was very boring. I mean, from start to finish, I was into it at the beginning, and then halfway through, I just wanted to quit, I didn't care who the killer was halfway through. I was like, can you just tell me right now so I can shut this off? It was boring. I didn't want to watch any more of it, and I didn't care. Now, as far as comic book versus movie, if you've ever read the comic book, which I did, first off, let me just say, this movie is better than the comic book. I thought the comic book, right off the bat, the comic book, as soon as I met the character, the Jack the Ripper character, I guessed who that it was, and I was right. With this one, I guessed who it was pretty early on, and I was wrong and everything. As soon as I got to the point where they did some animation, they showed the back of Jack the Ripper's head, and the animation of Jack the Ripper's head and this character's head, which I'll get into it in a minute. They were the same. So I was like, okay, now he's Jack the Ripper. I was wrong and everything. And with that, I did guess Harvey Dent as the killer, and I was wrong. It wasn't Harvey Dent. And I'll tell you who it was in just a second. Now, let me get into the things that I liked. I did like the fight scene. The fight scenes were very good. The first fight scene where he fights Big Bill, I felt like it was calculated. Like, it was almost like watching the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. in them. I wish they would almost do like they did in those movies where they did the voiceover. Like when he breaks his elbow and then I believe his leg. I wish they would have voiced it over and Batman would have been like, destroy femur or whatever. And I felt like they should have done that. It would have been very cool. But those fight scenes were very good, and I felt like you could follow them very well. The also thing that I like also was the relationship between Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Selina Kyle. I thought that they were equals, and it just showed that their relationship over time still holds up even in this Elseworld rendition of the classic characters. Speaking of characters, now I want to get into those. First off, let's start off with these secondary characters. Now, they all were pretty good. I liked, they had them in there. Gordon, Bullock, Dent, Hugo Strange, and all these characters, as they went on, I was like, okay, maybe he's the killer or whatever. I mean, I guessed Harvey Dent right off the bat, and I was wrong in the end. But as they started to die off, these characters, I was like, all right, never mind, it's not him. But I knew one of the men had to be Jack the Ripper, and and we'll get into that in just one second. Let me get into these characters. So Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, he was good. I thought he was smart. I thought they did a good job of him. I thought he kind of looked like Elvis, his drawing of him as Bruce Wayne. But smart. I liked him, pretty much through the whole movie and everything. Selina Kyle, I liked a lot. She was my favorite character in this movie. I didn't like how they took away her thief aspect of the character, but I did like how they did the circus background with her work with lions and how she still had the whip. And I'll tell you right now, Wonder Woman, you may not have been able to fight in a dress, but Selina Kyle pulled it off, and she pulled it off well, so maybe you could learn some tips from her. Also, I liked the Robins in there. I liked how they had Dick, Tim, and Jason and they had this kind of Oliver Twist feel with their characters. I liked that a lot, and if they ever do another one, because if you read the comic book, there's 2 stories in there, and I felt like they took from both of those, and they did a good job with this movie. Like I said, it's better than the comic book in my opinion. And then last but not least, the character that I want to talk about is Jack the Ripper, and that is Gordon. I didn't... it was better. I thought it was better. The twist was better than the comic book, and I felt like the reasons why he was killing these women was not good, but I thought that it was kind of thrilling, and I liked the ending, how you were like, oh no, it's Gordon, everything. So, in conclusion, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, like I said, if you are into these kind of thrillers, you might be into it. If you enjoyed the comic book, then I think that you'll enjoy this more. I like the Elseworld storylines, but I didn't like this movie. Like I said, it was just boring. Not from start to finish, but almost halfway through, like I said, I just wanted to bail out. So, but I do say check it out for yourself, see if you like it. Tell me what you think of this review. If you did like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of these videos, please hit the subscribe button, and I will check you later. Bye.